In a psychological study, children that were allergic to poison ivy were brought into two phases. In the first phase, they touched a plant and were told that it was poison ivy. In the second phase, they touched a plant and weren't told that it was poison ivy. The outcome of the study turns out that from the first phase, after they were told that it was poison ivy, they all had an allergic reaction. But in the second phase, where they weren't told there was poison ivy, most of the children didn't get a rash, meaning that some of these children confirmed the belief that they had a poison ivy allergy, okay? Whether this was they touched it and then they're like, oh my goodness, I might get a rash, or they touched it and their parents told them you need to be careful because you might get an allergic reaction. As this was confirmed in their minds, they manifested this physically unexplained circumstance. Now, what does this study prove? That we can physically manifest adverse health. And this sounds crazy, batshit bonkers. I am not a medical health professional, if that doesn't seem obvious. I'm a psychological student and we are learning about MUS, which is medically unexplained symptoms, and psychosomatic disorders. Our mind can affect our bodies and our body can affect our mind. I'm not saying for most of the time, but there is a chance that some of the things that you experience can be manifestations, mental manifestations, that you thought about something a lot, that it doesn't become conscious thoughts anymore. It actually is subconscious because you reconfirm that in your mind so much that now it physically manifests. Like I said at the start, MUS is medically unexplained symptoms. And I also mentioned psychosomatic disorders, which is the psycho, which is your mind, and somatic, which is the body. Suzanne Urselian is a neurologist, and she specifically specializes in people that have epilepsy. She takes on the 30% that cannot physically explain why they have epilepsy and why they experience seizures. Now, 70% of the people that experience epilepsy literally have epilepsy. You can put it through MRIs, you can put it through fMRI scans, and you can show on the screens that this is why they have epilepsy. Now, with Suzanne, she goes through the 30% where you look through on all the scans, all MRIs, fMRI scans, and you will not see the explanation for it. You can see that they are going through seizures, they have epilepsy, but why they're experiencing this, we don't know. She was very curious. Why do some people definitely have epilepsy? We can prove it. We can prescribe a medication to help them. But with the 30%, I cannot explain why they have it. They just have it. And I can't refer them off to someone else because they're experiencing seizures every day. So what she did, she researched this a lot. And the results that she found was this 30% is physically manifesting this for themselves. Whether that this is trauma, whether that this is stress, they somehow went through something in the course of their life, reconfirmed beliefs, and now they present this condition. I'm not saying if you somehow get this random condition or medical thing that you should just not question it. Don't go to the doctor and just say, I have this because of this. I would never advise that. Obviously, if you think you have a disorder, a condition, go to the doctor, check that out. But if you are constantly getting re-prescribed by another doctor, the tests are inconclusive, the doctors are saying you are crazy, but you're like, I'm not crazy, I'm telling you that this is what I'm experiencing, there's a possibility that you are somehow bringing this into the life and we need to find other treatment for you that actually is more beneficial to you. It's really difficult for neurologists and doctors to say, there's no reason why this is happening except your mind is making this, because we do not want to give you the impression that you are crazy, because you're not crazy. You are the ones that are physically embodying this illness, condition. You can explain all the symptoms, but if people cannot find the evidence for it, obviously there's going to be a stigma for it. Some people that don't have the evidence for something are going to call you crazy, but you're not crazy. If you're experiencing this, There's a reason for it, but it may be because of your mind. One of her clients that thought she had epilepsy was experiencing seizures every day, multiple times a day. It turned out this girl, she is a high achiever. She puts a lot of stress on herself. She says, if I don't do well, if I get sick, like it's going to do worse on my performance and like it's going to be even worse off for me. So then she got sick. Then when she got sick, she said, oh my goodness, like this could get worse for me, then I won't be able to pass work. She got even more sick. Oh my goodness, like this and this and this and this. She started to get stomach aches. Oh my goodness, now that I'm getting stomach aches, I won't be able to do well at school. Then she started experiencing seizures. It progressively got worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. And obviously, if you're experiencing from this to this, you're going to think, oh my goodness, there's something wrong with me. Like, I need to get this checked out. I need to get this prescribed and treated well. This is why we need to be so careful that the thoughts that we are reconfirming, we aren't reconfirming bad thoughts. We're not saying bad things to ourselves. I would much prefer to say to myself that, hey, Sim, you're beautiful, instead of, Sim, you're ugly. Because obviously, if I keep on saying to myself, Sim, you're ugly, I'm going to genuinely think that, and I could physically present this out to the world. I could stop taking care of myself. I could stop washing my face. I could stop brushing my teeth, stop showering, stop brushing my hair, stop trying to look dressed up when I go out. It turns out that many of the people that had MUS went through trauma as a kid, and a lot of them were, I cannot say the word, but were abused inappropriately. This could have been repressed, they could have not processed it, and they combated this in different ways. Because eventually your body is going to show you something if something's wrong. If you do not go and process the emotions, process what has happened to you, obviously your body's going to say, hey, something's not right, I'm imbalanced, and it's going to present this in a way that becomes worse and worse if you don't directly confront it. As I am not a doctor, I do not have a qualification yet. What is recommended that if this turns out to be the case that you have a psychosomatic disorder, it turns out that what is best prescribed, of course, go see a psychiatrist, go see a psychologist, go speak out all your thoughts and feelings and get to the root cause of the issue. Additionally, make sure you take care of yourself. Go through mindfulness exercises, meditate, you process your thoughts, journal. A lot of deep inner work for yourself. Reading self-care books, self-help books. If treatment is not working, there's a reason for it. Sometimes it's you, your inner soul, that needs the inner work to be done. Now, with stress, one of the people was struggling with stress, and this is how she physically produced a physical manifestation that adversely affected her health. Stress. We can handle stress on a short period of time. We cannot deal with stress or distress for a long period of time, okay? We have two different types of stress, eustress and distress. Eustress is great when we experience it in a test, which makes us perform a little bit better than what we wouldn't have normally performed as. This is great if we need to study and we know this is like a big percentage of our grade, and we'll focus more attentively because we're experiencing good stress. This is supposed to make us perform even better than at our normal baseline. When we think of the GAS model, which is 3 different phases of stress, which is the alarm reaction, resistance, and then exhaustion, we can deal with stress at an optimal level for quite a bit of period of time, okay? We can learn to adapt to it, adjust our schedule for it, and we can live with it and optimally work at a good level, all right? But this cortisol, this hormone, is not good for a long period of time because eventually our inner resources will be depleted. We will not be able to do our day-to-day activities. Your body is literally exhausted. You cannot deal with negative energies for a long period of time because you're not replenishing yourself effectively. So of course your body is going to stop working. It could be the case that some people, when they're reaching this stage, they think that, oh, I can't do day-to-day activities because it's this, because it's this, because it's this, because I have this condition, I have this diagnosis, I have this and this and this. But it's not actually. And for example, there was even another story where this person genuinely thought that his legs were paralyzed. The person was there with him saying like, hey, can you move your leg for me? Would not move his leg because he is paralyzed. Then When she walks away from him and asks him to put his pants on, there's more movement. He can move his legs just a little bit. There's a discrepancy there. It's not matching up, but it doesn't mean that he's crazy. There's a reason why this is happening. There's actually a few words for this. There's a conversion disorder, which is what I spoke about previously, which is when stress manifests in physical ways. The other one is a fascistious disorder, which is when you believe that you are impaired, injured from what I just mentioned just now. It's actually something that's not external, it's internal. And this is the same as psychogenic disorders, as the symptoms has arisen because of the mind due to stress. Somatization is when a physical symptoms has occurred due to a response to stress or emotions. Why does this happen? Why do we accidentally manifest bad things for us? Well, some of us actually like to thrive on stress. Some of us actually like to thrive on unhappiness. And this is because of how we may have been raised, parenting styles, or maybe we stayed in abusive relationships for a long period of times. It's exactly the same reason. Some of us thrive on being unhappy. It's sad, but it's true. A few symptoms that you can experience which is medically unexplained could be pains in the muscles or joints, back pain, headaches, tiredness, feeling faint, chest pain, heart palpitations, stomach problems, or the pain feeling bloated, diarrhea, constipation. Of course, like I said from the start, if you're experiencing things, always go to your GP, always go to a doctor, check this out. There could be a reason why you're experiencing this, but sometimes there's no explanation for it. Now, the same goes for the fight or flight response, which is when the body decides to either do three options when we are faced with stress, which is what was actually really useful for us when we were running away from predators and having to deal with really big issues because we didn't have housing, we didn't have all these other things, right? They had to fight and hunt for their food. They couldn't just go to the shops, right? Years ago. You could actually fight the stressor, you could actually flee, which is running away, flight, or you can literally just freeze, which is fawning. Now, in modern day society, we have very privileged lifestyles. We can just stay at home, order food to our house. We don't fight big apex predators. When we feel stress, we can't literally just fight it out. It goes internally and we have to deal with it. But when we don't deal with it, like many cases when it comes to work, when it comes to school, it can build and build and build and build within us, and we can just keep on oppressing us because we need to go through this stage in our life. Now, when we don't deal with this, this could present in bigger ways. And it is only when you experience some of these symptoms for a long period of time, it turns into chronic pain. Some of these stresses like that you can feel within your body, which comes with distress, when it comes to fight or flight or freeze response, is tunnel vision, dry mouth, muscle tension, tightness in your chest, sweating, nausea, dizzy, lightheadedness, can't concentrate, blush, difficulty breathing, difficulty swallowing, heart pounding, butterflies in your stomach, trembling, shaking. Now, this might sound insane to some people, so I'm going to use a very small example so it makes sense. Now, when some people literally have depression because of a lot of occurring like negative thoughts, which comes into like physical explanations. And some of these symptoms that they can experience is a loss of appetite, loss of weight, low energy, tiredness, general aches and pains. Why do they feel like this? Because they have constantly reoccurring negative thought patterns and they haven't found a way to cope through it as of yet. Yes, of course, when they go to therapy, they can go through this stuff, but if they're like battling it on their own, why are they losing like the willingness to eat? Why do they not want to go outside? There's a reason for it, but a lot of these is because of negative thoughts in their mind. And these physical symptoms and these emotional thoughts that we feel all impact on each other. When we have these physical experiences, we have emotional stress, which makes the physical symptoms a lot worse. When we have a painful illness, physical illness, it can lead to depression, which lowers our pain threshold and makes the pain even worse. When we feel another physical illness, it can also make us more alert to bodily sensations that could indicate our health is getting worse. We hyperfixate on that, and then with making it worse and prolonged and become more frequent in the pain or effect because we're focusing on the wrong things. If you have realized that a lot of treatments that you're going through by going to the doctor or getting tests done, it's becoming inconclusive, you do not know why. And they might like, hey, you have MUS, you might have a psychosomatic disorder. Like, it's your thoughts. Of course, it's not your fault. You're not crazy. You're not going insane. People around you might think like, okay, like, why is this happening to them? And it's their thoughts. If you get a diagnosis that you had an explanation for it, maybe you went to a doctor and they're like, okay, like you have epilepsy, and then you go to another doctor and then they say like, actually, no, you don't have this. It's just your thoughts like physically manifesting this for yourself. Of course, people are going to prefer to stick with the epilepsy diagnosis, because if they go for the psychosomatic disorder and they explain it to other people that, oh, I'm just recurring thoughts is making me have seizures, people are going to look down upon you because you seem cuckoo or whatever. Obviously, this is not the case. Seek treatment still. Go find a good therapist so you build a good therapeutic bond between you and your therapist. They will be the right doctor for you. You can get the right help. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any recommendations for future content recommendations, do let me know. I hope you have a good day or night. If it's 12 a.m., please go to bed. If you have any ways I can better improve my content, please let me know. Thank you for watching. Bye!